This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the next match. We got Bertha Faye teaming with Aja Kong, Lioness, Asuka, and Tamako Watanabe. Okay, there you go. They beat Alundra Blaze. Help me out with this one. Kyoko Inui. And Saki Hasegawa. All right, we'll say the next one, asshole.
Kamarita Asari.
Okay, sorry guys. I'm a hillbilly. I'm doing my best. Hey, about this though? Bertha Faye and Aja Kong, the bad girls, they get the win. 10 minutes and 1 second. Meltzer was still disappointed though. He said it came off as a total rush job because the referee counted 2 pinfalls that were supposed to be near falls. The Japanese women flew in on an 18-hour flight after doing the show the day before and are obviously tired. And he thought that perhaps one of them may have even been hurt because he believed she was the best all around worker on the card besides maybe Sean and Brett, but they didn't do anything with her. And, he says that he believes they were told to hold back because the spotlight is supposed to be on Aja Kong and they're trying to focus on getting her ready for a match with Alundra Blaze at Royal Rumble, which by the way would be in January, and this division will not even exist by then. What can you tell us about the rumor and innuendo? That didn't even sound like a real thing that you guys would have said you have to hold back.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. We want to fly you in and we want to bring you in and do this, but we don't want you to work very hard. Some of the shit that comes out of this guy's mouth is embarrassing. I mean, one day we'll go through that list of the guy that wrote down all of the, comments that this guy's made through the years, and that's just a fraction of them. But you can go through just one observer and the list is too long of inconsistency and lies. But it just wasn't, it wasn't good. I think it was a communication problem, and maybe there was jet lag. I don't know what the hell, but it just didn't click. And it wasn't Aja Kong at the time. It was Bertha Faye that we were looking at. And once again, God, can't believe that Dave has his shit mixed up.
He would write, the All Japan women as a group are remarkably consistent, and I don't think I've seen a match involving this level talent be as bad as this one in years. And it wasn't as if it was Bertha Faye's fault. 2 3/4 stars. Aja Kong is going to go on to become an absolute legend. Why was Vince so enamored with her? I mean, we know that was the original plan, Aja and
Vince
Blaze.
wasn't enamored with her.
Why was she the one is what I'm trying to, I mean, you got a lot of
wasn't the one. That's the thing. She wasn't the one. That's what Dave Meltzer thought. Dave Meltzer thought she was the one. Jim Ross liked her, but the one that we were interested in was Bertha Faye. And yes, oh my God, to Meltzer and his people, oh, it's got to be her. And oh my God, you got to see her. She didn't speak the language. And it was like, okay, could she do some big, impressive moves? Yes, she could. But she wasn't the one.
I like when you're fired up. So I'm not disappointed in that. But what I meant was she's going to go on to have the biggest Hall of Fame career out of the group, right? Have you seen her work outside of what she did with you guys at all?
Yeah, I have.
Why do you think, is it the face paint? Is it the look? Are you not impressed with her work still? I'm just looking.
Okay. Here, that's all great. At some point you have to be able to communicate with your audience. She didn't speak English. She couldn't communicate with the audience. So therefore it was a much harder sell to try and get to know her and who she is. Okay. She's a big, tough, bad woman. Great. Make me care.
I'm with you on that. I'm asking, and I guess I'm not asking the right way. Why was she
do incredible, big, crazy moves? Yes.
Why was she over in Japan is what I'm trying to dial in.
Because she speaks the language and can connect with that audience.
Well, the other folks do too. I'm not asking you to defend it. I'm asking, pretend. I know the company's going another direction. I'm with you. Do you see the appeal for Aja Kong to a Japanese audience?
To the Japanese audience? Sure. To the American audience, no.
I like when you're fired up.
Well, because you got a fucking guy that doesn't know shit, and you're saying, well, she was the one. No, she wasn't one. Meltzer says he thinks she was the one. She wasn't the fucking one. He's wrong. He lies. He just makes shit up and assumes shit because of what he thinks he would fucking do, but he's never had a dime fucking invested in the fucking business to actually, hey, let's see if some of your logic and some of your fucking creative could actually make a fucking penny in this goddamn business. You couldn't fucking do it. You know why you couldn't do it? Or why you don't do it? Because you can't do it. You like to critique. You like me. Like to watch your bitch boys and all your bullshit and everything. But you couldn't ever fucking do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just found 2016 Bruce Prichard. He's back on the show. Hypothetically, if there was a women's division at the Royal Rumble, who would Alundra Blaze have probably wrestled?
Bertha Faye.
Just wanted you to say it one last time. Mr.
Saki Wajaguchi. How to fucking,
No, I know you're with
communication. That's what we do. Okay. And it's why you have French talent speak to French audiences. It's why you have Spanish talent speak to Spanish audiences, because it could communicate. It's why John Cena learned Chinese, so he could go to China and be able to communicate. If you fucking can't communicate, it's very difficult to engage with an audience. And yes, you can watch shit all day long of people that, do incredible feats of bullshit. Oh, isn't that great? They just crushed their head over something. It means nothing. In that little island in which she's a star. Great. Good for her. And I'm happy for her. And I'm happy the curly-headed, jacked-up dude out in California is so fucking in love with her.
Well, boy,
sure, she's a very nice lady, and she was.
Do you see the appeal for Aja Kong to a Japanese audience?
To the Japanese audience, sure. To the American audience, no.
I like when you're fired up.
Well, because you got a fucking guy that doesn't know shit, and you're saying, well, she was the one. No, she wasn't one. Meltzer says he thinks she was the one. She wasn't the fucking one. He's wrong. He lies. He just makes shit up and assumes shit because of what he thinks he would fucking do, but he's never had a dime fucking invested in the fucking business to actually, hey, let's see if some of your logic and some of your fucking creative could actually make a fucking penny in this goddamn business. You couldn't fucking do it. You know why you couldn't do it? Or why you don't do it? Because you can't do it. You like to critique. You like me. Like to watch your bitch boys and all your bullshit and everything. But you couldn't ever fucking do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just found 2016 Bruce Prichard. He's back on the show. Let's talk about something else. The WWF is blowing away WCW on promotion of the women, with video features talking about all the women coming in, showing who they are and their finishing maneuvers. WCW's Gene Okerlund, on the other hand, whenever he's mentioning one of the names coming to WCW, he would say, boy, that sounds like something on the menu at a sushi bar. Boy, that didn't age well. You guys are trying to make a push here for women's wrestling. Although we know that that's going to end not too terribly long from now when Medusa pops back up for WCW. Why was the women's division, dwindling here? Clearly you're trying to dedicate some TV time to it. It doesn't seem to be hitting. Is there just not enough talent at the time?
Yeah, there wasn't. And that's always been a challenge. I think that when you look at different divisions and while there may be some great light heavyweights, well, there may not be enough for a division. There may be some great women wrestlers, but there weren't enough to have an entire, roster of women wrestlers at the time. So also, I don't think that the audience was ready to accept that. You didn't have the caliber of athlete that came along in 2015 and has exploded and made it, like, hey, as far as I'm concerned, they're 50% of the show and sometimes the better 50% of the show. So it's wasn't that way back then.
Yeah. In this era, the idea that you had two ladies main eventing, like, Sasha and Bailey have so many times this year, that just feels foreign. But here's what's interesting about this. And man, I hate to beat a dead horse about just the status of the company financially, but Meltzer's here in November, really putting you over for how well you're pushing all the new talent coming into the promotion with video packages explaining who they are. So it sounds like you've got big plans with international talent.
And again, we were trying, and we were trying to push that. And we had Alundra is the centerpiece.
Well, but here's my thing. This is in November. A month later, you cut her loose and say, we're closing down the division. You're done. A month later. So I guess my question is that a decision to do in hindsight? Maybe you didn't recognize it at the time, but is that a decision to get rid of the women's division once you see the Survivor Series 95 buy rate? Like if it was higher, would you have said, okay, we've got the finances coming in, this was a better number than we thought, so we can keep it in the budget. But when it comes in low, do you then make a budget cut?
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I really don't. I think it was more a situation of kind of looking at it and trying to evaluate it and wonder if there was that much interest. And you have to look at a lot of different things. You got to look at merchandise. You've got to look at just fan reaction. And unfortunately at the time, some had to be cut. It's never easy to cut. It's never easy to make those decisions.
No, you and I have both unfortunately had to let someone go before, and that's not fun. Sucks.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.